Right, how's it going? This is Ismortah, and this afternoon I'm going to show you my first, it could be a many streams of KDM, which stands for Kingdom Death Monster, which is a survival horror board game in which it's part running a settlement and part hunting these large monsters. And so for future streams, I'm going to be showing this in parts, maybe as long as I go, or just parts of a session, meaning the settlement phase or the hunt phase, or maybe both, or maybe multiple sessions. But in any case, in every one of these videos, I'm going to dice it up into highlights that just shows a settlement phase and everything else, and then just the hunting phase and showdown phase. So it's digestible. All right, so let me just check the Twitch audio right quick, and then I'll get into how this campaign is going to be different from a typical campaign when you start. What flavor am I adding to it, as well as start the prologue. So, one second. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Cool, so the video looks pretty good. I'm sure I'll improve this as I go going forward, but I want to try to keep the same layout that you see here, so you could have the board as close as possible. I may adjust the height and stuff depending. And then I have all the gear and settlement stuff over here, and then any auxiliary information, a game affecting me on the right hand side here. So like what they're doing, what they're encountering, but stuff that the settlement has will be over here. And then front here, I'll be able to show stuff for the showdown and the supply in the back, as I did. All right, so I'll let you know what I plan to do with this campaign, and then I'll go through the prologue, and then I'll set up for that first introductory showdown. So in this game, I've already played KDM once before through 10 or 11 days, Lantern Years, which is a session. And so this is a new game, and I want it to be a little bit different. So how I'm making it different is I'm including my obsession with Shadow as the theme. So what do you think of Shadow? What do you think? You know, Shadow isn't light, it isn't darkness. It's the marriage of the two, right? And that's going to be the theme with the flavor that I'm adding and some of the other things that I'm adding to the game just to give a little bit of a boost when playing the game. So, and some of this I'll encounter as I do the story, but the settlement name is going to be Showdown. With the emphasis of civilization being the balance of light and darkness. And there are a couple things that I'm adding to the core game that will already be available to the settlement once they start out, as well as during the prologue as well, unbeknownst to the people. So one, I'm adding an endeavor that can be spent. They spend one endeavor point. They can do Shadow Ritual. During this, you can share one weapon proficiency or fighting art of one survivor with up 4 other survivors. 4 other, well, I say players, but survivors. And then the original survivor will skip their next hunt and then also gain a disorder. But it's allowed you to, become vulnerable, but then give everyone a boost. Hence, balance. And that costs an endeavor point. And you can only do that once per settlement, because it's like it's an action you take on it. Yeah, unless you can do intimacy multiple times, I think I could let you do this multiple times. You can just only do 1 character per time. Balance, and then I have 3 things that are just traits in the game, and then a new character ability I'm adding to the game. So the 3 traits, 1 is balance. So in addition to any stuff starting survivors will have, they'll also get a +1 permanent stat of my choosing, and that's called balance. Another one I have is called light. Anyone involved with the intimacy couple will get a +1 permanent stat. And that'll include everybody involved, including the child and the couple. So I'm going to make a note on that. Intimacy, I'll just say intimacy group of choosing. And then I also have a trait called dark. Survivors that witness the death of a survivor get a +1 permanent stat. So basically in this game, what I'm adding to it is you have this civilization called Showdown, and when there's stuff of great light or great darkness, they grow from that, is the theme here, as well as when they first join. And then the character I'm also adding, stat-wise, is the Twilight Knight, which will be part of the 4 starting survivors. That's why you see here I have 3 with starting shards and 1 with the sword, because she will have the Twilight Sword. The Twilight Knight. This survivor starts with a Twilight Sword at proficiency level 3. And this character, unlike all the other survivors, never ages and also never dies. The other characters can just be blown away, torn asunder, all this stuff. But the Twilight Knight will never die, nor age. But can get ailments, can get disabled, can get disorders, but can never truly die. Whenever there's instance that she would die, instead is just defeated and fades away into shadow. But then the entire civilization, not just participating survivors, the entire population gets +1 to gets -1 to all of their stats for the rest of the game. So every time she gets knocked out and fades away, everyone gets weaker. And the only way you can truly lose the game is if you have no survivors other than the Twilight Knight, because Twilight gets her sense of life and self and purpose because of this civilization of Showdown. This relationship with this character, whose name is Isma, is actually called Ismortah. Aha, see, you knew I'd work that in there somehow. So you have Showdown and Isma, and that bond is called Ismortah, whereas the bond of the civilization is Showdown, is the theme that I'm going with. And then other character names, which I haven't assigned it, which I'll go ahead, also have Klingeth, Snahavium, and Citroni. So I think I'll do Citroni, Klingeth, because that sounds like a stronger name, stronger person, and Snahavium. And then this is Isma with the sword. That's what I'm going to do. Cool. I believe that's it as far as flavor and additions. Yeah, the one that's with Isma is Ismortah, and Civilization, Embrace of Light and Dark is Showdown. All right, cool. So that's that in a nutshell, and I'm going back to that so you know. Now I'm going to go through the epilogue and then just follow it, because initially it tells you exactly what to do in basic setup, and then we'll get more advanced going forward. So, and I'll start by showing you the pages as well. All right. Once upon a time, there was a place of carved stone faces. A man with a lantern lay sleeping a dreamless sleep. The man knew nothing. One day, the man woke up. He rubbed the dried ink caked over his eyes and opened them. Around him, he saw other people stirring, and beyond, a horizon of unbroken darkness. A woman approached the man with the lantern. Her soft hand reached out to him. They had no words. They were a mystery to each other. Suddenly, a monster emerged from the darkness, its eyes wild with hunger. It attacked. The people were no match for the monster. It tore their flesh and crushed their bones between its teeth. Some it devoured whole. Overcome with terror and grief, the man with the lantern collapsed to the ground. Cold stone noses pushed into his side. There was no escape. But the man did not want to die. Desperately grasping at the cold stone faces, he felt a crack and tore at it with all his might. A piece of stone came free. It was sharp and deadly. The man with the lantern scrambled to his feet, his weapon clenched in his fist. He took a deep breath and roared into the darkness. Somewhere in the place of stone faces, nameless men and women stand together. They have nothing but a need to survive and a lantern to light their struggle. Boom. That's where the story takes place. All right, let me get a sip of water, and then I'll go through this, and it says how to set up and how to make a custom, little easier version of the White Lion starting off, because it's more as like a tutorial to the game. And I'll do that. With the plan, I'm probably going to do this intro, first White Lion and settlement phase, get lunch, and then probably either do another session afterwards or later this week, with a plan to do like a couple sessions at least every week. But if I get fanatical, most likely more. All right, let me check the audio one more time, make sure it's all good. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I think I might modify this height a little bit, if possible, just to see get a little closer to the ground. Let me see. All right. I go with that, and like I said, I'll probably modify this continuously in the future, whatever works best. Or maybe also take off the picture I'm using here of the camera so you get some close-in shots as well as I play. I'll probably also do. Right. Cool. So what I'm doing right now is just going through this guide right here on initial setup. Hello, Nurture. All right, so blah de blah de blah. Everybody starts with one cloth armor gear, one founding stone, and of course, I'm gonna also start with one twilight sword at proficiency level 3. But I won't worry about. Actually, no. They all need gear things starting off right now. All right. So let me get 4 pieces. 4 of these, one for each character. Just because if there's any damage or temporary bonuses or penalties, we can track it as we go. All right, so the 4 characters. We have Ismortah, female. And I'll add to these sheets once I go through this to see what initially you want people to start with. So I got Ismortah, Kolingeth, male, Snahavium, female, and Citroni. The other male. Two males, 2 females. All right, and the only thing I know definitely is they all start with this gear, which I'll put on their gear boards. But I'm just going to go ahead and specify that Ismortah has Twilight Sword. Now, Twilight Sword does have some other attributes to it, so definitely before the fight I'm going to look up the keywords that's on it. Because it does have, I'll show you, slow, cursed, cumbersome, sentient, irreplaceable, and devastating. So I'm just going to look those up right quick before we start as well. Well, before we start the actual fight. All right. Ismortah will have Twilight Sword, a Founding Stone, and a piece of cloth, and everyone else will have one Founding Stone and a piece of cloth. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Each survivor uses a gear grid, blah. Starting survivors get 1 cloth and 1 founding stone. Blah, 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 blah. Name your survivor in space provided. Your survivor gains 1 survival for having a name. And then, because of my thing with balance, they also get +1 permit to a stat. Alright, so everyone gets 1 survival. I'm assuming everyone's insanity starts at 0. And everyone has 1 cloth, so I'm going to set everyone's waste to the number of 1. Showing that they can take 1 hit on their stuff. And then everyone else gets a +1 to a stat. Meaning either accuracy, strength, evasion, luck, or speed. It's just starting out. Because it's the starting group, and since they're kind of lucky starting with shards, just so I get straight into the initial, I think I'll just give everybody a luck. And then depending on what gear they get later on, then they might add to accuracy or strength, or speed or evasion. Or maybe I'll do 1 luck on everybody, and actually, and Ismortah do evasion. That's what I'll do. So everybody gets 1 luck, but Ismortah will get 1 to evasion, since she's all shadowy. And everyone else is lucky to be there. Okay, that's what we'll do. Alright, so then I know all the stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Starting survivor's movement is 5, which it's denoted on the sheet, yes. Blah, 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 blah. This just says how to do stuff, which I already know. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything with setup. I have 1 on their waist. Let's see, did they start with any insanity? Probably not. They start with 0 because they're sane. See, it shows here like 1 to waist. Because you have the gear and this example to set up, but Ismortah also has the Twilight Sword. Alright, so now I've got to set up the White Lion stuff. But this is a little tailored because it's not the typical level 1. It's a little bit lighter deck. And then you start with the claw on top. So it says here, but this is a custom setup just for the Prologue version of the Lion, which is a little bit easier than a level 1. Alright. So I need all White Lion stuff, and there'll probably be some other terrain in the game. I don't know why this was mixed with the terrain. That's weird. These are weapon masteries. Okay. Boom. I'm gonna need terrain, and I'm probably gonna need some other generic resources, basic resources on the initial Showdown setup. I am sure. Okay. So. And again, when I do the highlights, I'm going to edit out stuff too. So the settlement phase, what I talk about is cleaner, and what I talk about in the hunt is cleaner. So you don't see initial setting up the deck, which you don't care about. You just want to see the action or the story, you know. Just so you're aware. Okay. So I got to create the White Lion AI deck. And so normally I get random cards, but for the first one, I'm just getting just these cards. And the number of cards is equal to the number of hits. So as you hit the lion more and do damage, he'll have less actions that he's able to do. Which could be good or bad, because if you leave only the strongest actions, then it could be very punishing at the end. So anyway, so these are cards that I'm mining for. So we're definitely going to start with this one. This is just showing the basic actions, which we placed. Let me see. Can you guys see that? Sort of. That's. I know I can do. I can move this up because we're not doing the hunt before, like normal. So place it here. All right. So these are the basic actions, so I know what to do. And initially, it's 6 move, 6 toughness. All right, so then I have AI cards, and then these are the hunt cards, which you're not going to see because we're not hunting it. We just start at the showdown, so we don't need that. These are the hit cards. I have the actions, more AI cards, and resources for when you, particularly off the line when you hit it. All right, so for AI, I'm just mining for stuff. So I need 1 claw, 1 chomp, chompity chomp, 1 claw, 1 chomp, 1 size up, 1 power swat, power swat, 1 power swat, and 1 grasp. And then advance, I need 1 maul, 1 terrifying roar, where'd it go? Maul, terrifying roar, and then 1 enraged. And legendary none. So I'm starting with, he starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hit points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. Okay. No L and no S actions. Okay, I'll check this one more time before I commit. And then I shuffle this together to make the deck. Claw, chomp, size up, power swat, grasp, maul, terrifying roar, enraged. Okay. But this claw, before I shuffle, I'm going to set aside because that's going to be the very first thing it does. The rest of this gets shuffled. And this is the hit location deck. Okay. All right, so that's the AI deck. And then this AI goes on top. And then the hit deck, we're going to start with Strange Hand on top. That's the first Strange Hand. That's the first place that's going to get hit regardless, looks like. And then I'll shuffle this. The only thing I don't remember, which I need to check, which this will tell you, it's going step by step, is when you do damage, I'm assuming it takes away from the AI deck, whereas the hit location is something you always draw whenever you do any possible hits. I'm just shuffling the hit location deck. Do it like this one more time. The surface of these cards has an interesting like sheen to it that actually it's a little bit coarse, and so the cards kind of stick. There's a friction to them. All right, so that's the HL deck, which the first one goes on top. All right, so let me get on this side of this board. So we got the hit location cards that use to track where the white lion is hit. Take the white lion's da 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 da. The white lion starts here. The players start 5 spaces away from the lion. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's start. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see her, but then maybe him. He's like 5 away, meaning like non-diagonal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like there. And this shell starts to spread out because everyone's like, yeah, let's go get it. So maybe I'll do something like this. Set up like that. Let's say these 3 are kind of close. This one's kind of out here. Okay. Okay, so before any of this happens, I'm sure this goes through it. I just want to. Yeah, when you get wounded, you lose AI. That's how many hits they could possibly take. Is there? Okay, I was right. Cool. So the showdown proceeds in rounds. White lion takes its turn. Then the survivors take a turn consisting of 1 act per survivor. And so when you do an act, they can do 1 move. During their act, they can do 1 move and 1 activation during each of the character's turns. All right, so the monster goes first. So we look at the AI. And we got a claw. Pick target. And you go into this order of choices for the AI. For example. I'm not going to always show these, just for example, right here. So you go down the list, starting from top to bottom. If you can't satisfy one, then you go to the next, then you go to the next, then you go to the next. And if it says to do a basic action, I would refer to this. If I'm doing a basic action, if it says do a basic action. And then it's stats and any weird abilities on the other side. So you see for level 1, Prologue, it's a custom deck, 6 move, 6 toughness. One of the things I need to check, though, is before we start, is toughness to see, to beat it, do you have to get that number, or do you have to get higher than the number? I'm sure this goes into it. But I like jumping ahead, apparently. Equal or greater than the toughness. Okay, so I just have to get that number. All right, cool. So now I'll go the step-by-step so it's easier to do. Hi, Dragon. This is Kingdom Death Monster. So I'm showing the prologue with my flair of some story abilities I've added to the game. But this is the very first battle of the entire campaign, the prologue. All right, so we look at the AI card. And its first option is I can pick the closest threat facing in range. So for facing, it's like a triangle view. So let's say it's anything in front. So it is, both of these are in field of view. The closest threat. So it'd be this guy. So what he's going to do, he's going to move 2 spaces, and then his attack is accuracy 2, damage 1. Okay, so I mean, his attack is speed 2. So first he's going to move. His movement is 6. So it can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and spin. So move here. And then it's going to do a speed 2 attack. Speed 2, meaning roll 2 dice. Get out all these dice over here because we're going to need these. And then we're probably going to need some bleeds in the future. All right. Let's put this stuff in the corner here. Okay. Okay, this just talked about all the options, blah, 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 blah. Now we got the next action. AI card is move and attack. Move the white lion toward its target any number of spaces, which I've done, unless otherwise noted. The white lion should move by the most direct route possible, which it did, and facing, which it did. Then the white lion attacks. Once one line is adjacent, follow the attack profile on the AI card and make an attack based on speed, accuracy, and damage listed there. Speed determines the number of attack rolls. The claw attack profile is 2 speed, so roll 2d10 to attack. Accuracy is the number an attack roll must meet or exceed to hit. So your gear stops you from getting damage, and if you have evasion, that could influence the accuracy. So like in this game, have just from D&D. D&D has, do you hit the person, and then how much damage you do. In KDM, there's, do you accurately hit the target, and then do you penetrate the target, and then whatever the damage effect is. So it's like three steps instead of 2. So the roll must meet or exceed the accuracy to hit. So if it's a 2 or above, it's a hit. And you're rolling 2 dice. So let's go ahead and do that. So we got a 2 and a 7. So that's 2 hits on this person. Of 1 damage. So each dice does 1 damage. But before I do the damage, I now have to roll to determine where it hits. Alright, so let me read this, make sure I don't miss anything. Accuracy is number an attack roll must meet or exceed the hit. Clause 2 accuracy, so determine hits by checking how many roll results are 2 or over. If there are no hits, the monster misses and it proceeds to the next action on the card. So that's interesting. I think I played that wrong last way. So before it's always you do an action and then you hit, but this is saying if you don't even hit, then it does the next thing. That's interesting. I believe it means next action on a card, meaning actions here, not targets. So like if there's other actions to happen afterwards here, of which in this case are none. Damage the survivor. If there are any hits in the attack, the target suffers damage equal to the damage listed on the attack profile. This damage injures survivors, reducing their armor, then causes injuries. Roll the hit location dice for every hit to determine whether hit locations are damaged. All hit location dice must be rolled before continuing. The target chooses what order to apply damage to hit locations, and then will use survival to dodge a hit. So when you dodge, you can stop all damage, but only from one hit. So you can dodge a hit. Alright, so it's 2 damage. And then we roll where they are, and then I can decide what I do. So it's to the head, which is bad, and to the body, looks like. Head and body. So the head's really bad. So I said the lighter one is Citroni, so I'm definitely going to use the survival to dodge the head attack, because that just sounds bad. So survival is now at 0 for Citroni, but then also takes 1 to the chest. And so that's a light hit. Once it gets a heavy hit, then I believe they are knocked prone? I'll look over here. It says, I believe this will say what happens. Let me see if it says here. Oh, that's right. Yeah, once you get a heavy, the first time the heavy bolt box is checked, you're knocked down. So if he gets another hit to just the chest, he'll get knocked down from that attack. And then any attacks after armor, for example, if you're looking at the waist, any attacks after I go through all the armor and get hit twice, any extra attack, then I go to the severe injury page if I took a blow, and then roll on that table, which depending on what I roll, can be bad, really bad, or probably death. So you see, like, there isn't like a total health bar like D&D. It's more like you can take so much damage to certain parts depending on if you have armor or whatnot. So if you take a serious enough injury anywhere, it could be fatal. Obviously more fatal with stuff that has, that could be life or death, like you get hit in the chest or especially the head, for example. Okay, then there's triggered effects, which we haven't gotten to yet. And then we haven't gotten into brain traumas or sanity or any of that stuff yet. But we probably will, so I'll keep it there. So, okay, so he took his turn. I took some damage. He did his AI thing. So now the AI card is discarded. Or is it? Yeah, it's discarded. You go through the whole deck, it gets reshuffled, and go through it again. Alright, so now it's the survivor's turn. So I could choose any order of survivors I want to do, and then each survivor does a move and an action. Since it's the beginning of the game, really their only action is to attack. Alright. Actually, I may have to take just a 60-second break because I think I have to give my kitty over here. Do you want some kitty ice cream? You want some kitty ice cream? Alright, he wants some. One sec. Get you some kitty ice cream. So to reiterate, the lion just took their turn, and now the survivors can all do their turn. And right now they can choose to either attack with their fists, or they can throw the founding stone that they start with to have an instant crit. Which is something I could do, but at the same time, once you use it once, you lose that for the rest of the game. So, it's very situational. Now, before I get any farther, like I said, I just want to look up these action words on the Twilight Sword, just so I know if there's anything particular it affects. So, one sec. Okay, so first, let me use this to save the pages, since I got that functionality. Okay, so first I'm looking up, what is this saving? Probably nothing I care about anymore. Nope. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to is slow. Because she's the one that has definitely an advantage right now, because she starts with, well, all of them start with a little bit of luck, so it's easier for them to crit, but she also has evasion, so it's harder to hit. Actually, let's go ahead and look up evasion first to make sure I'm going to play that correctly. Evasion. When a monster or survivor with evasion is the target of attack, increased accuracy on the attack profile by the amount of evasion the target possesses. But regardless of evasion, if someone rolls a Lantern 10, it's an immediate crit, just like D&D, like regardless of stats. So if I'm reading this correctly, evasion just reduces accuracy. So if you needed a 2+, you would then make it like a 3+ to hit, in order to hit. All right, so now let's look up slow. And I apologize, it's possible that I may even take a break in the stream, maybe after this hunt and get lunch, or maybe before, because I didn't realize it's already 1:30 here, so just so you know. Slow weapons always have an attack speed of 1. Okay, so I'm going to mark that on Ismortah, that her speed is 1. Okay, which makes sense because it's a heavy weapon. Okay, next we got is cursed. The gear cannot be removed from the grid for any reason. Makes sense. Cumbersome. Survivors must spend both movement and activation to activate cumbersome gear. So if I want her to swing her sword, she can't move and swing the sword at the same time. Okay? Sentient. Irreplaceable. I get what that means. There's only one of it. Ever. That I know. Okay, but sentient. A survivor must be insane to activate this gear. So currently, she doesn't start insane because your brain is 0. So that means she can't use it. Okay. So I have to remember that. So she needs to be insane to use the weapon. If she if she wants to use the weapon, it's slow to hit with. Okay, so I think we're good. And then it's devastating too when fighting the Watcher, which we're not doing yet. And the accuracy is 9 minus Twilight Sword proficiency level. So her proficiency right now is a 3, I had said. Meaning a specialist. Which also means that... Okay. That's right, Twilight Sword. Okay. Insanity is currently 0. Alright. So right now, basically, she can't use the sword until she gets insane. Moral story. Put this other one in the glossary. Time being. Okay, so now it's the survivor's turn. So in order to, so the strength is 6. So, the strength, whatever do for the roll, has to be a 6 or above. And then to hit, it just has to be. There's 2 different things. The strength is based on whatever. Well, let's go through it. This will tell us. I'm relearning this too because I haven't played this in probably a few years. All right. Each survivor takes their acts one at a time in any set order, but you have to do your move and your act. Okay. Their movement is 5. You can't divide movement into multiple parts like D&D. You have to do your move and then your action, or your action and then your move. Okay. So I'll follow this. I will do one Founding Stone attack just because it's sane to do it. So maybe I'll do it with the Twilight person just to get rid of her weapon, since she has a sword. We'll do that. So we will get adjacent to the monster. So I can move 5 if I can get adjacent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I can go like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So move there. And the flag that I've already moved, I'll mark it with a token. That way I know that they've already done their turn. Something else I'll do. It doesn't say to do this, but it just makes life easier. So that's something I will do. So I use these. So what I'll do is green means the person moved, and then it'll be black to denote if somebody's knocked down, is what I'll do. All right, so she moved. Or actually move and action. You know what, no. I'll use endeavor tokens to say knock down. I'll do this to show that that they moved or attacked. As well do. All right, so she moved. And now she's going to attack. And I'll, however, use the Founding Stone. Once adjacent monster, use the Founding Stone. The Founding Stone's speed is 2. Roll 2d10 to attack. Wow, we got a critical. We actually rolled a natural critical and a 9. Wow, that's amazing, actually. All right, so the hit. So count the number of hits. Accuracy is the number of each attack roll must meet or exceed the hit. The Founding Stone accuracy is 7, so we rolled 2 hits. It's actually 9 and 10. The lantern's a 10, so that's 2 hits. Survivors attacking from a monster's blind spot getting +1 to their attack roll. I don't think I ever knew that. That's interesting. I remember that going forward. But I don't think we're in the blind spot because the blind spot would be like here. So we're not in the blind spot, but we were close. We were kind of far away. because it's not just behind, it's actually like literally like right behind the butt, as seen here. But that's good to know going forward. I did not realize that. I'm going to make a note of that somewhere so I don't forget on the settlements page, because I don't think I knew that even when I played the game last time. +1 accuracy. Good to know. I see here, like, I just put all information I need to know really on the piece of paper for the character, for each character, or for everybody on this sheet, just so all the information is one place, because one of the things about this game, you sort of have information everywhere. Okay. And the blind spawn attack roll of 6 with a Finding Stone becomes 7, making the result hit, but we have 2 hits. So draw 1 hit location card for each hit, and then I can select the order for the wounds. So we got 2 hits, one of them being a natural crit, actually. But the thing with also the stone is, let's see what it says. You can archive this card for 1 automatic hit that inflicts a critical wound. So we're not archiving. So even when I played this game before, I read this wrong. So you can use this as a weapon, 271. But you can also archive it for 1 critical hit immediately. So we'll see what the game tells us to do. Alright, so anyway, we got 2 hit locations. 1, we know what it is. We have Strange Hand and B Scapular Deltoid. Both of these only trigger if they fail. I'm definitely doing so we actually have a natural crit and a 9. Well, I don't think I ever knew that. Like, that's just a pretty good weapon. It just, you can archive it permanently to get an instant crit. That's interesting. All right, so anyway, now we wound. So I'm going to do the crit here and then the 9 here. So this only happens if you fail to hit. But it was a success. So you hack off the monster's hand, because I got a natural 10. Spend 1 survival to treasure this moment and gain 1 permanent strength. So she will do that. So she's going to... and you know what? When I played the game, I forgot to do the moving who's the first target. So and even in this game, it tells you if you're playing single player to not even worry about it. So I think I'm just going to play the game without it, to be honest. But it was a natural way that you can gain... I don't know. Let me find it. Show you what I'm talking about. This primary target token. Considering she was the... oh, I'm sorry. That's not what I was looking for. Not primary target. The... what was I looking for? Maybe that was it. No. Priority target is due if there's actually a priority target. That's not what I was looking for. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for right quick. This one, monster controller. If a player targets their monster, they gain +1 insanity. That's what I meant. Okay. So, because this is all about Isma, I'll have her first be... if she gets targeted. So she'll have it first. And then I'll have it cycle. Alright, so she's going to spend once... 1 survival to get +1 strength permanently. So I'll do that. And so how I'm recording this is I'm going to have off the side the permanent bonus, and in the box what it actively is. That's what I'm going to do. They say to use tokens, which I'll denote to place it on here to change the box, but this way the box is like one-stop shop, so you can instantly see the number without having to do math every time. So okay, so she gets +1 strength, so she's at 1, but that's because she gets +1 permanent. And her survival now is at 0. Okay. And that was from this. Critical wound. Cancel the R on this card. But it's only if we failed, and we didn't fail anyway. But after you failed, you then perform a basic action. So this actually cancels the entire thing altogether. You hack off the monster's hand. Spend 1 survival, which we did, to treasure this moment and gain +1 permanent strength. And then also persistent injury, lost hand, affects some AI cards. So now anything impacted by a lost hand will impact this. So this persistent injury, so I'll put it here. And then loses 1 AI card on the wound. And say it comes from the AI deck. Next, we got Beast Scapular Deltoid. It won't do its failure because we hit, so we don't have to worry about that. And there's nothing else that happens after the fact. And we didn't get a critical wound on this. But we got another hit. So he has 4 more hit points. And that's discarded. Cool. And that was just 1 player. Yeah, buddy. That's interesting with the shard. This shard's actually a decent weapon. It just, you could choose to spend an action instead of battling with it to throw it anywhere and get instant crit. Whereas instead right now I'm just hacking away at it with the glass. As opposed to you could throw it anywhere, instant crit, but you lose it permanently. So that I actually didn't know. You can actually use it as a weapon. That's pretty cool. Alright, so she already went. So next we're going to have other players go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little too far away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, too far away. Now both of them could throw their weapons. I just don't want to waste it right now, just because starting battle. Already got 2 hits, a little bit easier to attack. I just don't want to burn it, because there could be, unless things get dire, it goes to shit. You can keep the stones for those critical moments when you absolutely need a critical hit on something. It's also dicey because it's only worthwhile, the critical hit, if you know this could be a critical effect coming up. And since I don't have that sort of foresight right now, I don't know, what body part the shard's going to sink into. Anywho. All right, so she went. Next up, we'll have Citroni go. He'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and attack from the other side. So he moved. And now I'll have to do his attack. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to use his Founding Stone. So that's 2 dice. I'm not at the butt, so I still have to hit on a 7. Oh, wow, a 10 and a 4. Holy fuck. Wow. 10 and a 4. Wait, let me make sure I didn't miss something wrong. Because make sure I wasn't supposed to roll twice or something. 1 sec. Accuracy and you draw hit locations, but where does strength come into play? Oh, see, I then have to make a wound roll. See, I played incorrectly. I messed up. Already. Yeah, because you roll to determine if you get a hit, and then you roll if you do damage. So you have to roll above a 7 to hit, and then you roll to determine the crit. So since I already did it, I'm just going to keep going, because this is the first introductory round. you know, like I said, mistakes. So this is 2 hits. Yeah, that's why I messed up. I just didn't do the wound roll after the initial roll. That's fine. I'll just say that, you know, because she's, you know, Isma, she got her hits. Okay, so this is a 4 and a 10, so I know I got 1 hit. So I could draw 1 location card. So I got 1 hit, which something happens if I failed. Okay. Now I roll the wound. So the wound, if I roll a 9 or a 10, I get a crit. The reason why it's 9 or a 10 is because everybody else luck is 1. So it reduces the number, so I only need a 9 to crit. But to hit, I have to beat its strength. Its toughness is a 6. And the toughness on this weapon's a 1. So I have to roll a 5 or better to hit, or a 9 or better to crit. So I rolled a 9. So that's actually a crit, which is cool. So I got a critical wound. My attack destroys the White Lion's foot. It loses its leverage. The White Lion gains a -1 movement token, and I gain 1 Lion Claw from the White Lion resource. And then a persistent injury, I can ignore the effects of grab. Wow, awesome. All right, so -1 movement, which isn't really a thing because everyone's kind of close anyway right now, but... All right, so the White Lion gets -1 movement, denoted here, and then cancels, ignore the effects of grab, and then takes 1 more damage. And then also what? And I gain 1 Lion Claw White Lion resource. Cool. So I throw all the decks in the card on the floor. So I gain 1 Lion Claw because I knocked it off. Cut it off. Cool. So that I get by default. Because when you play the game, whenever you fight certain types of monsters, you get random loot, in addition to any loot you got just during the battle. So, you know, that's going to be 1+, which is cool. All right, so he did his turn. So now I got more turns. So she's super far away, and I don't want to blow my load. So I think I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So that's her move, and she's too far away to do an action, so that's the end of her turn. And then this guy's also too far away, but I also don't want to get in the face, and I also want to get in a line in case he charges. So I think what I'll do is, and I don't want to be in his line of sight if possible, so I think I'll go like 1, 2, 3. Maybe I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. That way I'm not in the same lane. All right. Cool. So that's everybody's move. Now it's the White Lion's go. And we just keep repeating. So the White Lion is going to do a power swat. Pick target, the closest threat facing in range. Facing, just trying to see what square it looks at again. Facing is anything above its square. So anything here out diagonal would be facing. So it's nothing facing. If not, there's the closest threat in field of view, which is still nobody. Well, actually, no, what counts as field of view? Is field of view anything other than the blind spot? I don't want to miss what field of view is. Field of view is anywhere other than behind and blind. Facing is that triangle. All right, so the closest in field of view would be one of these two targets. Since she hit him last, yeah, maybe I should even do this monster control thing. That just adds another complexity for no reason. Every turn this rotates, so if I just have to move it this way, then the next target would be Citroni, technically. The monster can then choose. This would be a harder target, but this would gain an insanity. But he already took a hit already, right? Citroni? Yeah. So I kind of don't want to do that, so I think I'll have him attack here. Okay, now he's going to attack. So he's going to do a move and attack, and then also has knockback 6. All right, so he's going to roll one dice, which is a 10, so that's a hit. And then it's 2+, so it's definitely hit, and it's 2 damage. So it's going to be 2 damage to the chest. And then she's knocked back. And she was going to get knocked back anyway. But this happens after damage. So I don't think you can get knocked back twice. I'll check that. I don't think you can get knocked down twice. So because she took a heavy hit, 2 damage to the chest, she's by default going to get knocked down. But what I want to see is if you're knocked down, can you then get moved again by getting knocked down? That's what I want to check. When a survivor is knocked down, turn the Metron on its side. We're not going to do that. We're just going to use token. Knockdown survivors always stand at the end of the next monster's turn. Knockdown survivors may only spend survival to dodge. Well, that's true. She could dodge the attack. It's true. Oh, no, she can't dodge because she has no survival. Okay. It doesn't say anything about it. So let me look at move the target of knockback X space directly away from the cause the effect. So it looks like they're independent things. That's what I'm reading it as. All right, so she's knocked down. She's knocked down. Takes 2 damage to the chest. So that's heavy. Light and heavy. And then the target is moved 6 spaces in a straight line directly away from the monster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And she's knocked down. Okay. So that's it for the monster's move. And she's knocked down. And she gets back up at the beginning of the next monster's turn. So when the monster moves, if anyone has the star, it goes away. But while you're knocked down, I believe you can't take an action. Let me double check. I believe that's the case. knocked down. Yeah, they can't activate or move. So she's spending her turn going, holy shit, what happened? All right, so it's everyone else's turn. So technically she already went. He's in a blind spot, which is a great position. So I think I'm going to have him attack first. That way if the monster turns or something, or charges, he'll be facing away. So I'm going to use Citroni first. Still going to use the Founding Stone, because it seems like it's still better than unarmed combat. You get a +1 luck, though, if you're doing unarmed, but it's just a little bit better. Because it adds 1 to strength, and it's a little bit easier to hit. But then, unarmed, you get deadly. Alright, so I'm going to roll 2, using this guy first. He moved, now he's attacking. Actually, I'll have him move here, and then attack. Okay. Alright, wow, I'm rolling great. So I got a 6 and a 10. So I believe I have to get a 7 or better with the stone. So that's 1 hit. That's me. The unfortunate thing in this game is you have to roll twice to do damage as opposed to once. So it's a little harder to do stuff. Alright, so we got Soft Belly. No reactions or anything, but if you gotta get a crit, an essay of stuff, so it's gotta be good. Alright, so try to crit, we have to get a 9 or better. Or we have to get a 5 or better to hit. 9 or better to crit. Ooh, unfortunately we got a 3, so that's not good at all. So that's a total miss, unfortunately. So I hit him, I just couldn't penetrate that soft belly. So it's like a hard belly. All right, so next we're gonna try to move some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't attack or do anything on that diagonal, so I can go 5 to here. Move, attack, same thing, roll 2 dice. We got 2 1s, so that's terrible. 2 misses. Next we're gonna use this guy. As much as I don't want to be in his face. Well, no, I can move here. What can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I'm just worried that if he charges, he'll knock both characters over. So, and I don't want her to get knocked. 1, 2, 3, 4. I forgot where I moved him now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I don't remember exactly where he was. So I'll just commit this attack here. I don't remember. All right, so he's gonna attack twice. And so he's already taken 3 damage. So if I just do 3 more damage, well, no, I have to do 5 more damage to kill it because he's got 8. 6 and 8. I believe I needed a 7 to hit, right? Yeah, so that's 1 hit. Beast Elbow, something happens if I fail. So this time, if I fail to hit, something bad's going to happen. He's going to charge, which I... But the good thing is no one will get grab because it cut off his hand because he's immune to grab. Can't do grab. And also has a lost hand. So. Alright, so now we roll for that. I get a 5 or a 9. Oh, we got a 10. And this only happens if you fail. And I didn't fail. So this won't happen at all, fortunately. So it's a 10, so that's a crit. So that's 1 damage. So he's half dead. And Critical wound. The monster howls in pain as the blow breaks its elbow with a sickening crunch. Non-deaf survivors gain 3 insanity and may stand if they're knocked down. So all survivors, because he's like screaming in pain, so now she can get back up and do her turn because she hasn't done her turn yet. And then everyone gets 3 insanity, which means she gets insanity, which means now she can even use her sword, because you have to be insane to use the sword. All right, so they all get 3 insanity, which is great. Insanity is useful in this game because it helps prevent you overcoming fear and stuff, but if you're too insane, then you start acting very irrational. Because if you take brain damage, you'd reduce your insanity. All right, so they all get 3 insanity. They all get 3 insanity, and they can stand after knocked down. So it's like, she's like, oh man, we can't do this. We're like, yeah, we can do this. Nobody's deaf. Awesome. Cool. So it's like inspiring damage to the beast. So, and just so you know, like, I'm going to finish this encounter and then have lunch, which I should be done in another, hopefully 30 minutes or less. And then after lunch, I'll do the settlement phase of the prologue, okay? All right, so I did the damage. He's already taken 4 hits, so he only has 4 more AIs. Hopefully I got rid of good stuff. And still have more players that can go. All right. So all 3 of them went. It was attack, a good attack, and remember that was total miss. All right, so now I'll bring her, but I think she's too far away, and her sword, I believe, I have to move. I have to spend action to move and attack with just the sword. I can't move and attack at the same turn. So let's get closer. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Will be my turn. And I'll keep it there. Cool. So now it's back to the lion. The lion is enraged. Rah! You hurt me. I'm not a happy camper. When this comes into play, draw an AI card. While enraged is in play, it's a mood. The white lion gains +1 damage token per monster level. I don't think this counts as a level 1 monster. If it doesn't, then I think it adds 0, actually. I think this counts as a, let's see. This counts as level 1, modified level 1. Okay. +1 damage per, so that's while in play, it gets +1 damage token. And you discard enraged once someone is either dismembered or killed. All right. So he's enraged. Then I draw another card. Chomp. All right, so he goes after the closest threat that's facing and in range. Facing would be here. The closest threat that's facing in range. So the closest one that's facing would be her. These people aren't facing, so the monster is going after her. And it's going to be move, speed 1, but when it hits, it's instead of doing 1 damage, it's going to do 2, and something happens after the hit. After the hit, it looks like always hits the target's head location. Because remember, you do the hit and then you do damage. So that's going to suck. That means he's going for the head, which means he's gunning to kill her. So that's going to suck. And she has no survival. So that's also going to suck. So, because I believe you only have 1 hit box for the head, yeah. Whew. So we'll see what happens. But she does have evasion, and I think I forgot to take that into account. But since I gave us a mistake bonus, I'll give him that mistake bonus, because she has everyone else has luck, but she has evasion. So she has to hit on a 10 to crit, but she reduces the accuracy by 1. Or I should say adds 1 to the accuracy, so it's hard to hit. All right, so let's see. So you roll 1 dice. That's a 9. If I reduce it, it'd be an 8. Roll the 9, so you need a 3 plus, it's still a hit. So it's 2. So it's you choose the location. Which it's always the head, so I'll change this to head, and it does 2 damage. So this could be really bad. So it does 1 damage, and then I go to the severe injury table. And she's knocked down now. And I go to severe injury table. Okay. All right, severe injury table. I forget what page that is. Here we go. Severe injuries. And let's see what this says too. In case I forget something, which I've already done. When a survivor's hit location has no remaining armor points and they have all injury levels are filled, they are in danger. Any further damage to this hit location will cause a severe injury. But you could spend 1 dodge to avoid this, but I've already done it to increase her thing by 1. So it doesn't matter how much damage you take. It just, if you ever can't absolve any more hits, you just go to this table. All right, so now we roll. It's a 10, which is great because a 1 is the worst state. A 10 is the best state. So I got hit in the head. Destroyed tooth. If you have 3 plus courage, you boldly spit the tooth out and gain 2 insanity. She has no courage. Otherwise, the blow sends you sprawling and you are knocked down. So I'm already knocked down, so I'm still knocked down. So that was like really lucky. Cool. So you know what? I will have this go to that page because something tells me I may go to that page more often here in the future. Okay. All right, so she's knocked down. That's it for Lion's turn. If the Lion begins its turn, any of these stars will go away. All right, so she spends her turn knocked down again, unfortunately. But everybody else can go into within range to attack. So I think I will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll move this way and attack with the shard. Chomp happened. When he takes his next turn, we'll shuffle his AI deck. And see, he did more damage because of Enrage. If he didn't have Enrage, she would have just been knocked down and not even be on the table. So, okay, a 10 and 9, so I got 2 hits. We got Beast's Brow and Beast's Tricep. One happens if it gets wounded, the other one happens if you fail. But I want to discard a mood, so I'll definitely do that one first. Alright. And now I roll for damage. Again, because this one has luck, I need a 5 or a 9. Right? Yeah, 5 or 9. So this one first. 10! Man, I'm rolling so many 10s. Wow, I'm super lucky. Alright. Critical wound. Cancel any cancel reaction on this. So let me shuffle this because we take from this deck. And he actually lost one of his wounds because it was a mood. So he actually has less hits naturally because that came off. So actually there's only 3 hit points left. So he lost another one. And the torn muscle causes agonizing pain. Discard 1 mood currently in play. The white line is knocked down. While a monster is knocked down, all reactions are canceled and all hit rolls succeed on a 3+. So it's still hard to damage, but it's easier to hit because he's not moving. So, alright, I'll do the same thing for the monster. I use a token to show he's knocked down. So the monster's knocked down. And it's +3 to hit. So I'll put that here. And then we still got the other hit to do. So now, I mean, we've already hit. This is just determining the damage. All right, so this is an 8. An 8 isn't a crit, but it is a hit. So he takes another wound. He only has 2 hit points left. But then because he got wounded, he reacts. Snarling, the monster swats at its attacker. Attacker suffers 1 brain damage, and then a basic action happens. Okay, so 1 brain damage. So insanity. You can see if you're not insane when you take brain damage, it would then you go to the table. So she takes 1 brain damage, so she goes from 3 to 2. Oops, I just did the wrong person. She goes from 3 to 2. And then he does a basic attack on her, which is the closest survivor in field of view, which is her. 2 attacks, but you need to have a 3 or better to hit. So that's a miss, 1 hit, and it would do 1 damage, but because enrage was that would have been 2, but now it's back to 1. So he does 1 damage to the chest. She takes 1 damage to the chest, but she's already taken damage to the chest before, which means I go back to severe injury table. Man, she's getting wailed on. All right, so the chest. So I rolled a 6 for the chest, which is disemboweled. Your movement is reduced to 1 until the showdown ends. So I'll give her just temporary tokens for the movement to show that, because it's not permanent. So she has -4 movement. Okay. Gain 1 bleeding token. Okay. Skip the next hunt. If you suffer disembowel during the showdown, which I did, at least 1 other survival must live to the end of the showdown to carry you back to the settlement. Otherwise, at the end of the showdown, you are lost dead. Which would be true, but this is Isma in the game, so she would just be defeated, and then everyone would get -1 to all their stats, which is terrible. So right now, the main thing is she's bleeding. If you get 5 tokens, you're killed. So she's bleeding, and she moves very slowly. And she's knocked down, so she's having a rough time right now. Okay. She's having a bad day. So that was a monster reaction. It's still our turn. She's knocked down, hurt. Now these two go next. All right, so she's going to get up behind his grill and attack from blind spot. I got a 6 and a 5. I believe that's 2 misses. Let me double check. 7 plus to hit. Oh, but it's knocked down. So it's plus 3 to hit. So it's actually 2 hits. So it'd be a 9 and an 8. Yeah, so that's 2 hits because he's knocked down. Because of this. And what says all hit rolls succeed on a 3+. It's even better. It's just you hit on a 3+ regardless. All right, so now I roll for, so it's 2 hits. Beast tail and beast flank. Reflex happens regardless. Wound only happens if you wound it. So I'll do the wound one first. Okay. Now I roll for damage. This one first. 10! Man, holy shit! Crazy. My hero's disemboweled and knocked over and got hit in the head, but everyone else is doing okay. She's the tank. Alright, so the white lion is knocked down, which is already knocked down. While a monster is knocked down, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's already knocked down. And since critically wounded, I canceled the wound reaction. So that's 1 damage. So he only has 1 hit point left, which is this card. Only 1 action left. Next up is Beast Tail, which is a 5. Which I believe is a hit. I need a 5 or better. Because it adds 1 to strength. Yep. So the reflex happens after I do the damage, but since I do the damage, the monster dies. So boom! We just killed ourselves a lion. That was the last hit. Boom. Let me make sure I did this correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so the lion's dead. So now I'll say what happens when the lion dies. And then I'll have lunch, then I'll come back. Okay? Alright. He survived. So let me go back. It is time to finish the battle between the survivors and the white lion. Wow, is that true? Have I been playing wrong this whole time? I thought the AI deck equal to how many hits you did. But I'm reading this, it says, if no AI cards remain in the AI deck or discard, the monster will desperately cling to life by performing its basic attack instead of drawing an AI card. The next wound it suffers kills the monster. So actually, it's not over yet. But honestly, for the sake of brevity, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it, just because I'm hungry. But yeah, so the hit points that you would have is the AI deck plus 1 is what would happen. So I'm just going to speed this up, though. Alright, so we killed the monster. This is a prologue entry-level thing, anyway. How do we kill it? The white lion is killed when it is wounded and there are no AI cards in the AI deck or discard pile to move to the wound deck. I was going to say I did another wound because I have another person that can attack and it's a guaranteed hit. I'll have to get a 5 or better, so most likely I will do a hit. So I'm just speeding this up. If the white lion is killed, the remaining survivors are victorious. In the aftermath, players should fill the first unfilled box in the Hunt XP section. So everyone gets 1 box. All these movement tokens and all the bleeds go away. And everyone gets 1 experience for the hunt. She was almost killed, but everyone else did good. Survivors are victorious. Collect your rewards. By scavenging the monster's corpse, the survivors earn resources. This is in addition to any resources earned from critical wounds during the showdown, like the lion claw that we got here. Boop. Take out the white lion's resource cards, shuffle them, and draw 4. And then take out the basic resource cards, shuffle them, and draw 4. So we get 8 resources for this kill. So we need this deck and this deck. So again, like even from playing this game second time, going through the rules a little more closely, I've screwed up a couple rules and learned a couple ways that I played wrong the entire last time I was playing the campaign. So, you know, there's a lot to this game. So it's really good just to take it slow. Like, see how it just, even when I was playing, I was skipping through this. I should have just kept it slow. What do I do? What do I do? And actually read through it and play through it. All right, anyway. So she was disemboweled, but because the rest of the party is alive, she's okay. And I don't think I'm going to play that she has to play through every hunt. Since she was disemboweled, I'll say that she does skip the next hunt phase. How I'm doing this version of the Twilight Night edition is everything except she has to be involved. And it's more like if she ever dies, the whole population just gets weaker. Has the life sucked out of them. That's how I'm playing that. So she can't participate in the next hunt. So let me see where my flag of that. It's here somewhere. Skip next hunt. Okay, I'm gonna fill that. Because she was disemboweled, she needs a rest. That is okie dokie. And to be honest, there's no such thing as playing right or wrong anyway. Like, there's a lot of rules in this game. It's all about having fun, doing the story of the game. So, this, you know, just like the same critical role, and I kind of believe that, or even like D&D, it's like the experience overrules game mechanics. So, whatever makes the game fun or interesting. So yeah, she's gonna rest. But in this game, like, characters die all the time, so it's really more about the civilization. That's why I have it. So even though she's the hero, if something bad happens to her, the whole civilization suffers. As well as, like I said, with the shadow ritual, the fact that you can have someone get a disability, but then share their knowledge with everybody that's there. Okay, so we'll get 4 of these. Okay. And then we get 4 of these. In addition to, we got this one by default. Boom. who knows? It's also possible maybe I'll do the prologue. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to take a break after I divvy out the end of this hunt. All right. So we got another lion claw, white fur, a great cat bone, and some sinew. So these are all the stuff we earned from the fight. Place all resources face up on the table. If players lost or survived in the first story, they can create new survivors in settlement. No one died. Turn the page to create your settlement. So we're not good. So I'm just going to create the settlement and then, like I said, call it. We'll do the settlement phase in another stream. So I've already named the settlement phase. Returning survivors gain +1 survival from this first thing. And let's see what else it says. So first we remove all injuries and bleeds. So I believe only 2 characters got hit. So we just erase those injuries. Alright. And then everyone gets +1 survival. And I believe the survival limit currently is 1, so the cap is 1. So everyone's at 1. By default, until other things happen. Alright. Cool. And now we do the settlement phase. So I'll definitely take a break here, eat some lunch, and then I'll show the settlement phase either later today or tomorrow. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. I'm just